Good afternoon. I am Loretta Castro Reguera.
And I am José Pablo Ambrosi from Taller Capital.
We aim to expand the limits of the field of architecture. We are a design and research practice exploring the synergy of architecture and infrastructure. More than 50% of the world population live in cities. These are responsible for 70% of carbon emissions. 1 billion people live in marginal areas and slums. We call these places the broken city. We intervene in the broken city by designing retroactive infrastructures, prosthetic systems aiming to fix the broken city.
We shift the obvious aspect of making architecture. We use structure to implement a replicable and multi-problem solving system. We use geometry as a tool to dialogue with the city and its inhabitants, and we understand the program as an excuse to implement necessary infrastructure. The following three projects have helped us develop these concepts. All three introduce soft water management infrastructures. In the border town of Nogales, we were commissioned to build a public park in the perimeter of a derelict dam. This area frequently flooded and had become a waste dump. We pushed to integrate the rehabilitation of the water body as the project's main objective. Gabion became the system that solves both architecture and infrastructure. Linear geometries dialogue with the existing urban fabric, and curves suggest the presence of water. The new design prevents the cyclical flooding of the area. The system of floatable platforms and the rise of the perimetral wall address this condition. Besides serving as water infrastructure, gabion retention walls connect the surrounding settlement to pedestrian pathways. The roof of the multi-purpose building weaves the urban fabric with the new public space. It also becomes a central piece of the identity and dignity of the community. Through the use of local materials and typologies, it is the facade that points the entrance and welcomes outsiders. Floatable platforms house sport courts and playgrounds.
In Tijuana, we were commissioned to design a park in a debris-filled streambed, piping the runoff. Instead of piping water, we channeled the runoff. We introduced the tire wall, a system that solves infrastructure and architecture. Geometry serves as a tool to reconfigure the terrain and dialogue with the community. The runoff is conducted through open-air canals along the stream bed's perimeter. Due to the low budget, we used the existing debris to form public spaces and control erosion. Waste tires from across the border are commonly used to stabilize steep slopes throughout informal settlements in Tijuana. We use this typology to integrate the project and provide a sense of dignity to the community. Non-motorized mobility is now a possibility across the former debris dump, creating the safe spaces in a crime-prone area. It became a two-phase project that started with a reduced budget, later expanded, covering 3 times its original area. In Ecatepec, we were commissioned to refurbish a fenced and abandoned park occupying the hillside of Sierra Guadalupe. A series of L concrete contention walls filled with local volcanic gravel shape the terrain and provide identity. Contour lines are transformed into filtration terraces. These serve as a sponge holding runoff and rain, filtrating it into adequate soil for aquifer recharge. Erosion is controlled while tree canopies preserved and enriched. The intervention weaves the northern and southern parts of the neighborhood through pedestrian and programmed pathways. The perimetral fence was entirely removed, stitching together city and park. Former dead-end streets today pass through the park, transformed into pedestrian walkways, benefiting from the local practice of well-kept streets. Traversal views are favored to restore the perception of security, removing eye-level bushes in the formerly blocked pit. A public watchtower and security point is introduced as an element where to see and be seen. Existing toilet structures were stripped and reused, favoring sound and site-permeable secure facilities. Program from different age groups was designed from scratch. New symbolic shaded spaces were added as rest and leisure spots. Ongoing research nurtures the creative process, transforming it into a climbing spiral. Thank you.